Alright, here we go. Part 2 of this build. Gonna finish it up. These are some amazing files that I got from the Galactic Armory. I will put a link to his page and the files in the description for you guys. He has some amazing stuff over on his page that he 3D sculpts, and I have a few of his files that I've paid for, and they're well worth the money. So I'm starting with the throne, painting it a base khaki color, and then these Rancor pieces on the side here, I am painting a gloss black first. They're like a copper bronze color, so I do a base of black first, just to make it have a shiny black base. Is always a good way to start your metals. And just like in the other video, I did I did a wash of green patina, and then I dry brush bronze on top of it. So then I go in with some more black, non-glossy black. I'm using just matte black, and I'm painting all of Boba Fett's robes and stuff, and his gloves and stuff. So there's a lot of little tiny detail painting, and obviously because I scaled this file down, it made it even harder for me. I feel like I always do that to myself. Even with like normal printing, I'll get this really cool file, and then I'll want to print it small to save money on the resin. But then it's just a lot more like detail work with painting, and it's like I always shoot myself in the foot. It would be a lot easier in the long run just to hollow the model out and print it big. And I think I'm going to start doing that in the future, because I'm kind of sick of painting these tiny little things. So I'm just going through some green now and painting all of his chest and his back armor and his collar armor green. Now I can go in with a little bit of yellow and painting his shoulder armor, and both of his knee armor is yellow. And I kind of go back later and try to add a little tiny red mythosaur skull on his armor. The thing too about painting small figures is that you don't have to be like super detailed. I feel like I always try to do a lot more detail than you're gonna see, especially with this. By the time I put him in the diorama and I put him inside the thing, you don't see any of the stuff on his shoulder anyway, so it's really not worth it to try to paint a lot of little detail on your figures when they're this small, if they're going to be inside a display base, But I get kind of carried away sometimes. You can see how I can barely like hold on to his little helmet. I'm holding on to like the base of the helmet and the top of the rangefinder, just so I can paint the green on the helmet. So then I can go in with some red, paint both of his forearm, his gauntlets there. I'm trying to think what else is red. A little spot around his cheeks. Not his cheeks, his around his helmet there is around his visor. He's got his red detail. I didn't after I got him finished painted, I didn't weather it. I didn't add any like silver battle damage or anything. I kind of wanted this to just be his like freshly painted armor, kind of how the season 2 of Mandalorian ends, where he's got his new armor and he takes the throne, and he's got like his clean, fresh painted armor. That's kind of the look I was going for. I like it because it's different than you're used to seeing his armor, and it kind of stands out a little bit more. And every other figure I have of him is all battle damaged and weathered, and his classic look. So I actually enjoyed keeping him looking fresh in this, so that was kind of cool. I just used some brown. You see I'm painting his boots, and I painted his belt and his gun holster on his hip. Painted all that brown to look like leather. So now I can glue his helmet on. You can see I didn't paint his visor yet. I wanted to get his collar and the base of the helmet done first and then glue it on. So then I can hold his whole body while I paint his visor, just so I can have a steadier hand. So there he is sitting on the throne. So one thing I did do is that in that end scene of Mandalorian season 2, he has his jetpack on when he sits on the throne. So because I have a couple different files from Galactic Armory, I have one where he has his jetpack. So I just I printed the jetpack from that file out small, made sure it was sized to match this file, and printed that out, glued that on his back. I ended up taking the rocket, not the rockets, what do you call them? The boosters on the back of the jetpack off, so that he would sit better against the chair. So these are the vents that go behind the throne on the back throne wall. So I just painted those black first, and now I'm going through some silver and just dry brushing silver over these to make them look like old metal, scuffed up metal and stuff. And now I'm going through with some brown wash. I'm just adding that underneath to make it look rusty, make it look old. Give it some drips so it looks like water's been running down it, Take a little bit of orange and add that to make it look like some more rust, some older rust that's usually like bright orange. So now I'm using some of this red cellophane. I think you guys have seen me use this before. I think I used this in the Cyclops visor. So I'm using this on the back. That way if any light passes through it, it'll shine a brighter red. So now I can glue those on top of the back wall there. Now here is the spit, the fire spit that goes behind the throne. Painted that black first, and now I'm just dry brushing some gold on it. It's like a goldish copper color, so I'm just trying to get close. Again, you're not going to see the details on this when it's sitting in the back of the throne in the dark, but I try to do my best. So the spit itself, I painted silver and black and made it look like it was sooty. Now these are just some cheap candles, battery operated candles, and I bought these from the dollar store, so they're $1 for a 2-pack, so it's a great deal. So I put these on the bottom of the spit. I use my Dremel to grind that out. And now with some hot glue, I make this little flame just by adding hot glue and letting it dry and keep building it up. You can see here I'm testing out the light to make sure it works. Now the Rancor is another file that I found. This is from Thingaverse, so this is a free file. I'll make sure I'll link to you guys where I got this file too. That spit was a file too that I found. That was like a 3D file. That was it was like a render for a game or for like a 3D CGI thing. But you can download it and convert it. I converted it to a STL so that I could print it out on my printer. But anyway, I can leave a link to that too for you guys. I'm trying to think what else was printed. I think that's it. I think the Spit, the Rancor, and Boba Fett and the Throne were all the only things that I 3D printed for this. So I painted the Rancor brown. I gave him a bunch of washes. I gave him some dry brushing. And then I go in there with some lighter tan and I paint all his claws and his teeth. And then I go through and I dry brush some more. Kind of light. From all the images that I've seen, Rancors are kind of light on the front, and like their backs are a darker brown. So I'm just trying to add some lighter colors in the front and keep the dark back. You can see I really go light here because I'm going to do a dark wash over this again. But I take a little bit of different color paint and I just keep adding browns, light browns, medium browns, dark browns. I just keep adding browns to this to really make it look like organic. It's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to paint stuff like this. I'm not really used to doing that kind of stuff. So I just keep adding layers and layers and layers of brown until I'm kind of happy with it, you know. So I get all of the brown on there that I like. I kind of dry brush the front light again. And then I can go through with a dark black and brown wash. And I wash that over the whole thing. And then I dab it off of the rag in all of the high spots, so it fills in all the lines and creases and stuff. And I think that's really the thing that pulls it together, honestly, is the wash. So here is the bottom of the or the top of the pit. This is the top of the throne room itself, and I'm just going through it. I'm just adding some wash to the grate, the Rancor pit grate. Just to make it look like old metal. So now I can start gluing the whole thing together. So here is the throne room itself. I'm gluing that onto the floor. Adding a little bit of glue under the steps. So here is the base of the throne. Add a little bit of glue to that. Slide that into place. It's really funny to me that the gargoyles on the side stick out to like where the stairs are. But in every image and thing that I've seen from the throne room set, that's how it is. So you kind of have to like walk around those gargoyles like on the steps, like so you don't like bash your shin on them. I just think that's funny. Now I can glue all of that to the bottom of the Rancor pit. Make sure that the thing's the right way, obviously. I already glued the spit in just because I put a little hole in the floor and ran my wires through there for those little candle lights. So I had to do that before I glued it to the base. And now here is the ceiling of the throne room. Again, that's just some cereal box cardboard, but you can really see like how that light comes through and it gives you that great effect. It's really cool. It's kind of my favorite thing in this build, honestly. Just how something simple like that can really add like the ambience and the detail that that it's one of those things that you see. It stands out when you see it. So this is just some cheap foam board. I was gonna buy white and paint it black, and then I realized that you can just buy black foam board. So that was nice and saved me a lot of time. So what I did is I kind of marked out where I want the walls so I can cut them out. I also marked out where the walls would be and where the door of the Rancor door would be in the bottom, so I could paint that a darker black. So you can see there the Rancor door is painted, and then the wall is painted for the throne room, so it's not just a black wall on the throne room. So I glue that to the side there. And then I do the same thing on the other side. Make sure that the glue adheres and gets set up. Now it's time to add figures, so I glue the Rancor in the bottom first. I like how he kind of blends in with the pit itself. He's kind of the same colors, so he kind of blends into his environment, which I kind of like. You can also see that I painted his shackles silver. The Rancor in the Book of Boba Fett doesn't have the shackles, and he also has a ring in his nose. But I was working on this way before the final episode of the Book of Boba Fett, and I didn't want to go back and add that stuff, so I just kind of left it the way it is. So here I'm gluing in Boba. And the last thing I do here is I take some black paint and I'm just painting the edges of all the exposed foam, just so it's not white. I'm just making it so it kind of frame, the black paint just kind of frames the whole thing. And that is it. That is the finished Book of Boba Fett diorama. I really hope you guys like it. I'm really happy with it. I'm glad it's done. It took me forever. And I will see you guys next week.